So I've always been very perplexed about how we got from surprise baby Jesus to red man in a suit. And I really think it's about time we moved on from this for a lot of reasons. First, I think my generation we're over capitalism. We're over commercialism. I was Googling this. There's actually like a whole section of the advertising field is like panicking because millennials don't respond to ads anymore because we're so over it. The next reason is because Santa, it's like prematurely enters kids' lives that like the idea that being good, you get presents, but actually just being rich, you get presents. So it introduces this idea that being poor is bad, and it's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. So also, I think our generation is just pretty over, cis white dudes doing illegal shit, like breaking into our house and then getting away with it. I think perpetuating that story is like not great. We're over it. But what my generation really likes to do is cancel people. So I think we should cancel Santa. And as an ecologist, I think there are a lot of animals who actually could do the Santa job a lot better because at the end of the day, Jesus does need a mascot. And so who could fill this better? And actually, yes, I did ruin my algorithm on LinkedIn. Now I'm getting all these ads for mascots.
Man.
Yeah. So my intention today was kind of go through the animal kingdom and talk about like different animals that could maybe, do a better job as Jesus' mascot. One of which, for example, is this wood frog, right? So this guy can actually freeze his body. And so as someone who needs to live in the Arctic all the time, I think this could be a very good candidate. They're also very cute. People love little cute frogs, so maybe that could work. The reindeer themselves are actually a pretty good candidate, like real reindeer, because they actually have this really cool adaptation. They have these adaptations to survive in the Arctic and not get really depressed when it gets really dark all the time. So for normal animals, when light, you've probably heard this before, but when light hits their eyes, basically we have these clock genes in our brains that tell our body it's time to be awake, and suppresses melatonin, so it helps us be awake. And then when it's nighttime, those clock genes are not stimulated, and melatonin is secreted, and that's what allows us to go to sleep. And reindeer actually have a way of like bypassing this, so they can actually have melatonin kind of go up when it's nighttime, but not be asleep all the time. So it enables them to like still like take advantage of the summers and be eating and active when it's totally like daylight all the time. But then in the winter when it's dark all the time, they don't just like sleep the whole time, right? They can still be up and eating and stuff like that. However, I didn't get far in the animal kingdom because there is one clearly superior candidate. And I'm not biased here, but it is the birds.
Not biased at all.
They can fly, guys. Like, we're talking about something that needs to go around the earth very fast, very far. Mm-hmm. They can fly. And they're the only animals that can do this because they have hollow bones. So they have, like, air pockets in their bones that make them lightweight and able to fly. So, clearly, great. And they can fly really, really far. So, for example, this hummingbird is... can basically... So this one migrates from Alaska to Mexico, and which is a traveling 80 million body lengths for this bird, which... The human equivalent of this would be walking around the earth twice.
Whoa.
While, like on foot, while drinking your body weight in sugar water the whole time.
This hummingbird's name is Rufus Hummingbird.
Aww.
Dude,
He
actually
looks like
my
a
favorite...
Rufus.
Okay, one of my favorite things is going to Wikipedia and looking up hummingbird names. Everyone do it after the show. It's really hilarious. Like, there's some really good hummingbird
Can you
names.
give us just like
Amazing.
a teaser?
Like rainbow sparkle puffleg and like
that's really good.
shimmering goddess emerald, like stuff like that. They're all just amazing. Yeah.
Have these been adopted by people and named? These aren't the scientific names.
It's like so it's not the Latin name, but it's the common name in English, and it's basically what whoever discovered the bird looked at it and was like, this is what this bird is called. And they're all very cute.
We should name stars like that.
Don't you? You
yeah.
just sell those to people to name after their girlfriends, right? So that was like farthest, fastest relative to body size. This bird is the farthest, fastest migrator, like actually. They travel from Alaska all the way to New Zealand or Australia, which is like, over 13,000 kilometers in 8 days. So they do this super, super fast, which I think is very impressive. This guy gets, farthest, fastest award.
Oh my goodness.
The common swift gets endurance awards. So the common swift would be a good candidate because they can actually fly nonstop for 10 months straight. Like we've put trackers on these birds and they were literally flapping their wings nonstop for 10 months straight. And they somehow get through it sleeping and just staying in the air and flapping their wings. It's wild.
There's nothing common about that. Excuse me.
So like a pretty good option, right? There is one though that's I think really incredible, and that is the Arctic tern. So the Arctic tern already lives in the Arctic, bonus. Longest migrator ever. They literally fly from pole to pole twice a year. So all the way down to the South Pole, all the way back up every single year. And you can actually look at like what this looks like as far as sunlight. These guys get the most sun of any organism on Earth because they fly from where it's 24 hours of sunlight to where it's also 24 hours of sunlight and then back. So they are really ridiculous extreme birds. I would love to know why they do this.
What you talked a little bit about like circadian rhythms. Like I wonder what theirs are like.
Dude, wild.
They just
Dude.
they have terrible nightmares, so like we just can't sleep.
Just keep flying.
It needs to be sunny all the time.
Yeah, so how we know a lot of this is by tracking birds. So ever since like the iPhone came out, we've got these really tiny technologies that allow us to track birds and their movements. And you can go on this website, actually the Global Fly Network, and like there's a QR code if you're really interested, but you can like track birds like in live time, like pick a bird and like watch it moving around. And it's pretty fun. It's way better than this fake ass like Santa tracker that they put on CNN. It's like a fake Santa going around the earth. It's not real. Fake news, Mm-hmm. This is real. And I do think when I'm like looking at stuff like this and reading these facts, what really comes to mind is like how do they do this? Like, and aside from the energetics that it takes to like do that, how do they even know where they're going? Like all these guys have really different routes. They're very specific routes. Some of them are just going straight through the middle of the Atlantic Ocean without any like navigational cues. Like how do they do that? So I'm going to tell you. First, they use stars.
Yay.
You can maybe they basically track the Earth's rotation around the stars, around the North Star to like know which way is north and get around that way. That's only part of it. The other part of it is they use magnetoreception, so they can actually like sense the magnetic fields and the angle of the magnetic field to the Earth's surface and navigate that way as the sort of magnetic compass. And I just find this really fascinating. This is like one of the most interesting things I've ever heard about animals. We don't know a lot about like how this works. Scientists are still trying to figure it out. But the one thing that people did find out was that you do need a little bit of light in order for this to work. So they found out that like the starlight and the moonlight is actually really important because they can't do it without a little bit of light. And so the I guess central hypothesis right now in the field is basically that it has to do with these photoreceptors that I talked about with the reindeer. So when light hits the eyes, right, it triggers these photoreceptors that trigger that circadian clock that I talked about. But also what happens is the light hits this photoreceptor. Okay, so now I'm going to talk. I forgot. So now I'm talking about birds, right? I don't think reindeer can magnetoreceptor. Maybe they can though. A lot of animals can actually do that. But okay, so light hits the photoreceptor in the eyes. There's this photoreceptor called cryptochrome, and basically what happens is the photon. And I'm like, this is like not my field. So I did actually a really deep dive trying to figure out how to explain this, and I'm doing a very crude version, by the way. Don't quote me. But light hits this cryptochrome and then basically like forms this reaction where an electron jumps from one amino acid to another and forms a kind of like positive negative gradient in this photoreceptor. And then that turns into like a kind of magnet thing, which basically enables the bird to sense the magnetic fields. And it's really, really, really sensitive. And so that's how they can kind of sense. The theory right now is that that's how they can kind of sense the magnetic fields, which I just think is super cool. And it's actually interesting too because some studies have come out showing how like anthropogenic pollution, I've talked about light pollution before, and like we think about noise pollution and stuff, but there's actually also electromagnetic pollution that can like disrupt this, which is really crazy. There's a study about like robins being put in a like not being able to navigate or like know where they're going in an urbanized area, but then they put them in a tin barn and like blocked all the pollution, and then they like could. Whoa. So scary. So at the end of the day, I think birds were the clear choice. Birds are the clear choice for this. However, okay, I will say I came to this conclusion. I really think they are the superior choice, but there is one thing that I still just can't get past. That I just don't know if they really are, because I don't want to have to do the search again, and I'm just skeptical. Because just like Santa, they might not be real. I've been in this field for a long time. I still can't figure it out. I also am not totally sure if magnets
they
are real.
can sense magnetism, sure.
Which magnets might also not be real. Like, none of this could be real. As far as the Insane Clown Posse goes, who knows what's going on? So the jury is still out. But luckily, I did come across recently somebody who I think can really fit the job, who actually can be in so many places at once, going around the world, and do the job that needs to be done. And that's Luigi. Luigi Mangione. Apparently, based on these memes that are going around, he was in Chicago, he was in Tulsa.
He was everywhere.
He was in California, Philadelphia. He made it all the way to, where are we at? India? California.
Oh, it keeps going.
And all between the hours of like 6 a.m., 6 p.m. on the same day. So clearly this is the guy for us. So with that, I'll just say thank you guys.